I I want to go back and watch The Good Dinosaur just so I can make this claim. It might be the weakest Pixar movie, in my humble opinion.
Ooh.
It might be the weakest Pixar movie. I have to go back and watch The Good Dinosaur because I was not a fan of The Good Dinosaur. But now that the buzz is off of that one, I'd like to kind of approach it again just to give it the time of day. But man, I picked up what you put down there. But Lightyear, though, absolved from the core of this discussion, I didn't care for it at all. That I was quite frankly checked out of that movie about half an hour in. Quite honestly,
Damn.
I was not impressed at all with Lightyear. Not at all. Outside of a few visual sequences, the movie completely lacked any and all character for me.
Let me ask you this: is it better than Jurassic World? Two things: is it better than Jurassic the Dominion?
That's a hard comparison, but yes.
Okay. Is this the best case scenario for what Jurassic World could have been, which is just blasé?
Is this the best case scenario for what Jurassic World could have been?
Dominion.
Thank God you're not asking me these questions.
Jesus, Freud. Yeah, I would say yes in a way. What the hell? I gotta think about that one.
Sorry.
I gotta write another essay on that one. That's a good question. It's a decent question over here. I would have to lean yes, but that one I'd have to unpack a little bit more.
Right.
But anyway, regardless, I don't know how many of us saw this coming. I honestly didn't think too much of it really in the box office realm, because anytime you see Pixar, you just almost assume it's a given hit, and there's not much competition outside of the Minions that's coming out in the beginning of July. But man, this thing tanked. This thing is going to lose money. Lightyear opened to $50.7 million, which was far below industry expectations. Now, this is the first Pixar movie to be released in theaters since Onward.
Yep.
Onward was released in theaters the first week of March 2020 and then was pulled, I believe, on March 19th with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. I checked my Onward ticket stub isn't worth anything because I saw it opening weekend, but it's not worth anything. But anyway, because yeah, if you think about it, the last three Pixar movies, Luca, Soul, and Turning Red have all went to Disney Plus.
At no additional charge.
And no additional charge either. Now, isn't it fucking something that the one movie that goes to theaters from Pixar is the movie that belongs on Disney Plus? That's what pisses me off the most about the movie, is that we got three really good Pixar movies in the last several months. We got three really good. You could even argue Soul is one of their best. I loved Luca particularly, but I also love Soul. And Turning Red is a long time coming. It was a long time coming for a subject matter for an animated movie. But no, we had to get a knockoff movie. We had to get a Toy Story spinoff, which was allegedly the movie that Andy watched in 1995, but it takes you out of it because the opening title cards tell you this is the movie Andy watched in 1995 that made him want a Buzz Lightyear toy, which takes you out of it. This thing, first and foremost, like, I feel like this thing was confusingly marketed. I feel like this thing is confusingly marketed because a lot of people think that this is the origin story of the Buzz Lightyear that hangs out with Woody and the three aliens and Rex, which is not the case. This is who Buzz Lightyear, the toy, is based on. And that's kind of a hard, weird thing to sort of explain without the use of title cards and expecting people to care that much. Like, that's kind of a challenging, weird route to take, I think, with a movie. Number two, I think this is the biggest thing. You can argue, and I know we kind of roll our eyes, but I think there's a lot more people in this country pissed off about, like, the whole controversial gay kiss than you might imagine. Now, whether or not they have kids and are consumers and even were considering seeing this movie, that's anecdotal. I don't know. I think that played maybe on the pie chart scale a very small percentage in this. But I think the bulk and overarching point of this thing, of why this thing didn't do well, and you guys can disagree or disagree, this is Disney's problem. This is Disney's bed that they made. They conditioned families to watch these movies for free with a Disney Plus subscription, and now they expect them to go to the theater. And the first question that a lot of parents ask When will this be on streaming? Especially with the last 3 Pixar movies being available on streaming. Encanto didn't really start doing well until it came on Disney Plus. Encanto didn't start doing well. Raya was still caught in the middle of the vaccination phase in America. So Raya was kind of a push-pull. But this is Disney's problem that they made. They conditioned moviegoers to stay at home. Now they want them back in the theater for a story that is disconnected from the Toy Story lore. I don't think Toy Story 5 would have performed like this. Not saying I want Toy Story 5, but I don't think Toy Story 5 would have performed like this. Nobody asked for a Lightyear origin story, much less a Lightyear that's not the one we know, voiced by Tim Allen. That being said, I'm turning it over to Joe.
Dude, no, you took the point I was gonna, because I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really speak to the movie's quality yet. But what I will say is this was something we talked about. Oddly enough, the show that we're going to review this movie on, you won't be here, and this was a topic Dom and I talked about when you weren't here. Dom and I talked about an article about how Pixar animators and just people who work at Pixar in general are kind of getting angry about the fact that they're being shoved to Disney Plus with their films. And to me, I look at it as, yeah, I mean, like, how could you not be? Look how hard you guys put, like, time and effort into this animation, these stories and everything. Not including Lightyear in terms of story, but just animation-wise. I mean, when I saw the trailer for this movie, and I saw it, like, in IMAX and Dolby and everything, it's like, yeah, no, it's a beautiful-looking movie, as most Pixar movies are. But, yeah, it was the concern I had. For now 2 years, your movies came to Disney Plus either same day as the movie being released at theaters, like Raya did, at like a charge, or if you're Pixar, you just went on Disney Plus with no extra charge. And so I was wondering, I'm like, okay, so what happens when the next big Disney animated movie comes to theaters? Because we really didn't have one for the longest time. And you brought up a good point. Encanto, dude, I talked to so many people when I was like, yeah, no, like when Encanto came into theaters, and people didn't know it went to theaters first. People did not know that at all. And I keep telling people, I'm like, if that movie would have never come to Disney Plus as early as it did around the Thanksgiving holiday season, we don't talk about Bruno would have not probably been a big hit as it is, like, with people. It would have, like, I
completely agree.
Like, if it did not come out around that holiday season, families would have not gotten together to watch it as much and everything. Kids wouldn't be seeing it. It really wouldn't have.
It's a different story if that thing comes out in January on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's a totally different story. Bruno is not a cultural touchstone.
No, if that movie would have been like released in theaters in November like it did, and then came out on Disney Plus in February or March, it would have just been right under the rug. Like, nobody would have cared. This was a concern I had, that like when they finally decide, okay, we're gonna start putting our animated movies back into the theaters, and Encanto didn't do that well, but it did amazingly well at home streaming because of the time they released it. But now here comes Lightyear, Pixar's first movie in theaters since, 2019? Because in 2020 they had Onward. My bad. And Onward didn't do that well because the pandemic was starting off, and now this didn't do well. And like, I don't know what people want to attribute to it, but again, I looked at it as, it's not because of the gay kiss. It's not. I don't even think it's because it was bad marketing. Everybody I talked to seemed like they understood like what this movie is. This is the movie that it's just kind of what Buzz Lightyear is based on, or they said like this is just kind of like a spin-off movie, like what like Buzz Lightyear just himself. I honestly think it was just the fact that people thought this was coming to Disney Plus, and then they logged on to Disney Plus last Friday and went, where the hell is it? And they didn't see it. And to me, it's just like, it sucks. It's unfortunate that happened. And there's a bunch of stuff that people can attribute to it, but to me, it was the fact that when families are the thing that kind of keep these movies going, then it's just like when you make it so convenient for them to watch it at home, they don't have to take their kids, get them dressed, take them to a theater in public, pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tickets each to go see something. Yeah, no wonder why your movie bombed. You guys gave them a service that's literally a babysitter for them practically.
Yeah, start giving away your stuff for free and then charge for it and then see how many people show up. That's the problem, especially when it's like, it was marketed as an event movie, but it's also not really an event movie.
Yeah.
Then you know what I mean?
And
like you're devaluing your own theatrical product.
Because look on the other side of things. Marvel didn't release Black Widow on streaming. They waited until it was in theaters, and they did the same day thing. But because they did that, people still kept in mind, well, if I have to see a Marvel movie, I have to go to theaters. Well, if I have to go see a Disney live action movie, I got to go to theaters. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Star Wars in terms of Disney properties. But in terms of animated stuff, dude, yeah, you blew it because you guys kept pushing stuff onto Disney Plus for free. And you made people just go, well, shit, it's going to be on here in what, 45 days? I can make my kids wait till then.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an excellent point. Now you're seeing the fallout from those decisions too, and now studios that waited, like Marvel, Marvel, and even Top Gun Maverick, that Paramount waited despite the insurmountable pressure. And Paramount would have been justified in releasing Top Gun Maverick onto the streaming because they were not doing well at the time. Sonic took them out. Sonic took them out of the red for a little bit, and then the pandemic hit. Yeah. I thought Paramount would have caved, but they didn't. Too. They did, and now they're reaping all the benefits.
Like Sonic,
the thing's almost at $1 billion. It's been out less than a month.
Sonic 2 made a ton of money. Top Gun's making a ton of money. Mission Impossible is probably gonna make it because each Mission Impossible is just making more money than the last. And I just imagine we're about to see the Tom Cruise renaissance of action films now.
Your boy's super excited for Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe on Friday, so I'm pumped for that.
Yeah.
But before we close out, we are on the time clock over here. I've kept these gentlemen way too long. Dom, your thoughts on Lightyear? Underperforming, bombing, however you want to call it.
Oh, sorry. Supreme Court's about to rule on overturning Roe v. Wade, but we need to talk about the gay kiss. We need to talk about what really matters. Look, I just want to say that was all a bit, by the way. I was listening. Me being distracted was the bit. The thing is that I just want to say this is that when something like that, a scene that is unabashedly representative of something, whether it's unabashedly Asian, unabashedly gay, unabashedly trans, which is great, but when you keep putting it in these movies that you don't really put a lot of effort in, or you just kind of hope it does its best, or put something, to quote the article, safe IP-centric cash-in, you're doing the opposite. You're causing harm, because now we know this pattern by now, you force a situation where a bad movie has to fall back onto these representative scenes, representatives as a merit, right? Which is just a disservice to everyone, because look, this movie is going to get haters. It's going to get haters. But, that didn't get as much press because that movie actually was kind of good. Say what you will about Marvel, but it was competent. It was something exciting, something that Sam Raimi, had merits. This, I haven't seen it. I can't comment on the movie, but according to Steve, whom I trust, it was really empty. It was safe IP-centric cash-in. And when you do that, you have nothing left to fall back on except this pattern of manufactured, completely meaningless controversy that all it's going to do is make some progressive people jaded and make some people who are susceptible to conservative or, extremist thought on the right, they're just going to fall prey to more of this shit, right? Because the truth is, what representation means is that there is more to it behind what is simply on the surface level. But we need that surface level just to show you. When you don't have anything behind it to show, no good qualities, you're just wasting everyone's time. And that's all I want to say about that, because you guys covered the whole box office situation perfectly. I really wanted to see this movie, but I didn't want to spend any money on it. God damn it, it's the one that's actually in theaters for once. I don't know.